Hello, and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the 6th grade concept of properties of operations. This is standard 6.7D in the great state of Texas, and we are using item number 15 of the 2024 released STAAR test. This is a new item type called hotspot, and if you haven't done so already, please go ahead and take a moment to pause the video, work this problem out on your own, unpause it, and we will look at our answers together. So we need to find two correct answers here. And if you notice, if I select 2, it's impossible to select a third, so you can't select 3. If you only select 1, they are going to give you a warning signal, say you have not answered the entire problem. So let's get both answers correct so we get the 2 points that this problem is worth. So we need to find two equivalent expressions, but they don't give us one to start with. So it could be any of these two here together. And really what looks like we're dealing with are some different properties of operations. And let's go ahead and just start looking at some of these, right? So if I wanted to say, like, let's look at this one first. 5 times 1/2 p minus 2 times 7. Let me just simplify each of these parentheses. I don't want to go all the way down yet, but let me just simplify these. 5 times 1/2 p, right? So that's going to end up being 5 halves minus, 2 times 7 is 14. All right, so that doesn't help me unless I can find a matching one. So let me change color here. Let's do this one. All right, so 1/2 p times 5 times 7 minus 2. And let me just do one layer of, you know, simplification. I can already tell you it's not going to work because that's a minus 14, that's a minus 2. So this ends up the 1/2 times the 5 times the 7. I could do the 5 times 7 is 35. So then it's going to end up being 35 halves. I'll just leave it like that, minus 2. All right, so one of these two might match another one, but they do not match each other. Let's look at this one right here. Let's go green. All right, so we've got the distributive property on this one. So what I have is that 5 being multiplied outside the parentheses, right? So I'm going to distribute this 5 and multiply it by both, keeping that subtraction. So that's going to be 5 halves p minus, because that's 5 times 1/2. Now I need 5 times 2. That's going to be 10. And then this times 7 is just out here. So I still need the parentheses. And that, yeah, if I multiply both of those by 7, I'd have to distribute again, right? So I can go ahead and do that second one just so we get the parentheses out of here. I have to multiply both of those by 7, and that's going to end up being 35 halves p, which I have right here, but it's minus 70. Okay, so not quite. Let's see what this one looks like here. So that's 1/2 p times 5. And minus 7 times 2. So that's just going to be multiply the 1/2 p times 5. You can multiply 1/2 times 5. That's 5 halves. 5 halves p minus 7 times 2 is 14. Now look what I've got here. It looks like I've got a match. Let me do this last one just to make sure that it doesn't have a match. But I've got a 1/2 p times 5 minus 2 times 7. Yikes. So within the parentheses, I've got to do the 5 halves p minus 2. And you really can't simplify that. And then you have to multiply all of that by 7. So that's going to be 35 halves p, distribute that out, minus 14. So close, but not quite. It is going to be the blue and the red. And simply take a look at what we have here. This blue and this red, if we just go back to the basics, it's the exact same terms. That's just the commutative property. They just flip the order. 2 times 7, 7 times 2, 5 times 1/2, 1/2 times 5. Just flip the order. So that's my answer.